Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE Survivor Series 2017 preview and predictions. This show has a lot of really intriguing matches on it. And of course, we've got the two big 5-on-5 brand versus brand matches, a bunch of crazy title versus title matches. And of course, we actually do have one title on the line that's not even going to be on the main show. And then the old Shield versus New Day thing. But still, it should be a pretty interesting show. I really do have a lot to say about it. But John, I want to know how you're feeling right now.
Here's my thing, brother, in all sincerity.
That's kind of where I am. And I'll let you guys know why I'm not more excited about it once John gets done giving us his thoughts.
I mean, dude, here's the thing. If you guys heard our TakeOver preview predictions, which if you haven't, there's still time because the show is tomorrow. I would go back and listen to that as well because we were hyped for that show. I loved that you got, to me, a quality match card. Like even Lars Cassius, I'm looking forward to in a way, and they gave that some build-up. But I feel like a lot of the matches here, I like the narrative leading up to each of these matches. I'm like, okay, this looks like there was effort put into it and this and that. With Survivor Series, I just hate how they had one card, knew it was going to bomb, probably wanted to really push ticket sales, and they changed the card. Now, do I think that was a dumb move? No, but here's my thing. These are great matches, fine. Or they look on paper like they're going to be great matches, fine. But I think what angers me, like if I wanted like just great matches, like that's PWG. Why you and I think are PWG, right? WWE, their big thing is always the entertainment. They even say it themselves. We're not a pro wrestling company. We're an entertainment company. Well, I find a good story, as you know, Lucha Underground has proven time and time again, better than anything. And I think what makes me the angriest, I'll give you one match as like a snapshot of why I'm like so miffed with this show. You pull the trigger on AJ Brock, which I know you couldn't have done it right away because Jinder Mahal was champion, but I feel like they could have had the title match a hell of a lot sooner than what they did and gave these guys more breathing room because the 1 to 2 weeks of build that we got with those two, I loved it. And then I'm thinking, well, imagine if we would have gotten a whole month of that. You know, it just really what this pay-per-view shows to me is everything we've been hearing for the longest time, that WWE doesn't do long-term planning anymore. It's no longer that company that the day after, you know, WrestleMania 30, they're sitting around in a room, what are we going to do for WrestleMania 31? Because this, to me, just reeks of desperation to make a compelling card. And I'll probably buy into it when we're watching the show, but if you ask me for my honest hype level, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Whereas with TakeOver, I was a 9. I'm 2 notches below for this show, if I'm honest.
You know what? It's funny because I'm always a little lower than you, and believe it or not, I'm the exact same amount lower on this card than I was for TakeOver compared to you, because you are 2 notches lower. I'm 2 notches lower, because remember yesterday I was at an 8 out of 10 for TakeOver. I'm at a 6 out of 10 for Survivor Series. And we just got a $2 super chat from James. He said, hi, like the video, which, yeah, I mean, if you're here, please do like the video. Then he also said, back to Pokemon, bye. So he's going to go back to playing Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And hopefully he keeps our audio on so that he can at least hear what we have to say.
Yeah, well, that's good, because he knows that if he didn't listen to us, there'd be a lot of consequences for his behavior later. But, wow, so you're at a 6 out of 10 for this. So,
I'm not excited, but and this is kind of where I wanted to step in here and say the reason that I'm not excited about this show is because there are literally no stakes at all for any match outside of the pre-show, which you and I aren't even going to watch to begin with.
Yeah. It's really, isn't this a similar complaint that you levied against last year's Survivor Series? Because you're doing all these elimination matches, but like,
well, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember, to be perfectly honest with you. But I feel like last year we were at least under the impression that they were going to do something along the lines of, oh, whoever wins the most matches, whichever brand wins the most matches, gets like a free draft pick from the other squad or something like that.
Yeah, and
but this year, I mean, I don't know if around preview predictions time last year, I was just as disappointed because we didn't get anything like that. But this year, we have nothing. Like, yes, are these matches most likely going to be good? Probably. Most likely, at least 3 or 4 of the matches on this card are going to be good to great. But do I have any reason to care about any of them other than Vince McMahon jerking himself off trying to figure out which show he likes better? No.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying, because the idea to me of like just, oh, brand supremacy. To me, that's such like an abstract concept. You know, like it's intangible. Like, what am I supposed to do with that, right? Whereas if it's like, oh, if I beat you, maybe I get to control your show for a month, or maybe I get to take one of your stars away, or X amount of stars away. Like, that's something I can sink my teeth into. But this whole concept of brand supremacy, like, what does that mean when you control everything, when the WWE controls everything and WWE is still the winner? Now, if this was, say, WCW versus WWE and they agreed to do this and like, oh, we'll work everybody, and they tried to run with like, you know, brand supremacy, like who's the better wrestling promotion, I think you could get away with it. But the WWE juggernaut still wins everything, so how can I get excited when I already know who's really winning in the end? I don't know, man. It really doesn't sit right with me. I could see where you're going with that. And yeah, like again, this card on paper looks loaded. It seems like it has matches that I'll probably get sucked into. So I'm saying that now just so people are like, oh, and you said you weren't hyped for this. No, I mean, a good match is a good match. But I'm always going to be thinking in the back of my mind, man, I really wish the story was better for some of these. So I guess I'm ready to really start unpacking this when you are, man.
Well, that makes one of us, because I wanted to kind of bounce off of what you were saying about how, you know, it doesn't really matter which squad wins. And we've already seen that, because if you remember last year, the SmackDown men's squad won their match. Raw won as far as like the majority of the matches won. And yet we saw no real repercussions at all. Like, I think it's pretty safe to say that Raw was getting the WrestleMania main event regardless of who won. And that was a suggestion that I saw was, oh, well, what if the winner gets the WrestleMania main event? But we all know that they're not going to put a SmackDown match at the end of the card over the Roman Reigns match. Like, that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So even if SmackDown would somehow manage to win, which once we get into predictions, you'll find out that I don't think that's going to happen. But even if SmackDown would manage to win, it still wouldn't matter, because they haven't established any reason for these brands to want to win their matches respectively. It just really irks me that we're going into a show that the most stakes that are on the entire show are in the pre-show.
Yeah, and you know, dude, like, I could maybe make an argument for Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, like that the stakes would be, you know, more on Kurt's side, because even though Stephanie hasn't explicitly said it, which to me is exactly the problem, it really does seem like if Kurt doesn't deliver, he's fired, you know, because it really seems like Steph's wanted to get rid of his ass. But then again, if I'm honest, and this is only me speaking for myself, I would never want to speak for you or our fans, I really don't care about Kurt Angle. So even that, if you wanted to make the argument that that was a stake that you could get behind, like, oh, if Kurt doesn't deliver, you know, we may see him gone. He just came out of WWE. Like, I like Kurt as a person. It seems like he's turned his life around. I'm happy for him for that. But really, as like an on-screen character, I would just prefer if he did the occasional in-ring match that he clearly wants to do. As a GM, he really does nothing for me, which is disappointing, because I actually had hopes for him, you know, to be that goofy comedic Kurt Angle and to play so well off of everybody. I feel like he really hasn't done anything for Jason Jordan. Then again, you know, he's not a miracle worker, so maybe that's unfair to Kurt. But yeah, I really don't care about Kurt Angle. So even if somebody were to make the argument, well, John, it seems heavily implied that Steph's very displeased with Kurt, and if he doesn't come through, he's fired. Even that wouldn't be enough to really, for me to say like, oh, go Team Raw, or oh, I can't wait for this match, because it's just not a great narrative weight to hold it on. So yeah, I completely agree.
You know, it's funny. James is even in chat saying that he likes Meltzer's idea, where the show that wins the most matches gets the first, or gets the final 15 entrances in the Royal Rumble. Losing show gets the first 15. I almost think that that's too drastic. I would even go as far as to say that I would be more interested if the winning show got even numbers in the Royal Rumble and the losing show got odd numbers, because that would guarantee that the losing show would get number 1 and the winning show would get number 30 without making it that lopsided. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like shake it up, you know? I mean, but again, this to me...
Really, just anything at this point to give me a reason to want to cheer one of these two brands, other than just, well, which brand did you cheer for in the lead up to the show? Which brand did you, in your mind, label as the face, and which one was the heel? Like, whatever. They really went out of their way to make it so that they're forcing the audience to choose which one of these brands do you see as the good guy? Which one of these brands are you going to cheer on? And in my mind, I couldn't give two shits.
Right.
So really, it does just have to come down to which side has the performer or most performers in the 5-on-5 case that you like. That's all that comes down to.
Yeah, it really does come down to personal preference. I mean, what was I even going to say? Oh, and you know, to me, like I was about to say, this is so indicative again. There is no long-term planning. There's no, and I keep saying it, there's no passion for possibility. Yes, you've given us John Cena. Yes, you've given us Triple H, you know, on opposing teams. Yeah, Kurt Angle's leading his team. Yeah, Shane's leading his. But like, to me, and this just further like intensifies our point in my mind. You're putting bodies of that quality and that significance, because hell, you can say what you want about Shane, but he's commissioner of one of the freaking shows, so he's like putting his neck out as the leader, as, you know, the guy running all this shit, but it means nothing. Like, I could understand if these guys were doing it because of Royal Rumble numbers, right? Or because, oh, you know, if our team wins, we get to pillage their locker room, and then that show's going to be left with nothing. How the hell are they going to put on an entertaining show without Samoa Joe or Braun Strowman, or, you know, if it's Raw, Shinsuke Nakamura, you know, stuff like that. But these guys are going out there, they're competing, it's going to be a match, but that's just it. It's just going to be a match. If a guy like Triple H is competing, hell, even John Cena at this stage of his career after doing the job to Roman Reigns, if he's competing, I would say, it better well damn mean something. And it doesn't, though. You just get to say for 1 year, oh, we beat you at the Survivor Series, but that it doesn't materially change anything. And it's just it's very frustrating.
It is. It is very frustrating, but now I think I'm content with what I've said on the subject. Are you?
Absolutely. Let's break down the card.
All right, let's get into, like I mentioned, the pre-show, which is the only match on this entire card that has any real stakes. Enzo defending the title against Kalisto. I don't think he's dropping it. I think he's going to keep it.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. I know Alex Oster, I don't know if he's still listening or not, but I know like he's a big fan of 205 Live, and I do like quite a few of the acts on there. It's one of the reasons why it's so upsetting that it's so constricting. But I do think you have something worthwhile in Enzo Amore. I think it'd be foolish to have him drop the belt. I'm telling you, if you want the Cruiserweight division to matter, keep him as your heel, have him ramp it up, but then really get a babyface, because I have no problem with Kalisto personally, but I really don't know if he connects as well as he could, you know, with the crowd, because, yeah, he's got an exciting repertoire. Guy can't talk for fuck all, though. You know, I've been a big advocate for people like Cedric Alexander. Hell, I think it was you that even said that Drew Gulak might turn face in the future and go after Enzo. That'd be freaking great, because I could see the crowd going crazy with Drew just twisting Enzo like a pretzel.
Yeah, that's honestly, I was even, before you even brought it up, when you threw the ball back to me, I was going to bring up, I think Gulak is going to eventually be the one to take the title off Enzo.
I think that could be a great story, you know, because he's a guy, right, that's campaigning for a 205 Live. I could see it being, you know, Enzo, with my campaign for a better 205 Live, not only would it be better with it being a no-fly zone, it'd be better without you as Cruiserweight champion. Bam, you know, you got your face turn, and you've got a face that's, you know, very technically sound. Very
you know what? Javaris actually does make a good point. Drew Gulak might stay heel, and they might just bring Hideo in and have him be the one to beat Enzo.
Oh, God. And see, though, I mean, look, being fair and keeping the focus on the Cruiserweight division, not what I think Hideo should be, which, you know, I think the world of Hideo, and I can make a commentary all by myself on that. It would be a great story, because you've got this intense, you know, who is a legend in my mind, given what he did in Noah, you know, as Kenta, coming in and kicking the head off of a guy who runs his mouth. So you want to talk about getting that pop, because people love seeing Enzo get beat up, which is a testament to his heel work, because he talks this game, oh, I got my own locker room, I'm driving the best cars, you know, the women love me, and he's got, you know, the belt to prove it, but he looks the way he does. And then you've got a guy like Hideo who comes from a completely different, you know, culture and background and all that stuff, and he just kicks Enzo's head off. Very straightforward story, and one that works. So, yeah, I think Enzo retains here, and honestly, I would not be surprised if Enzo versus Hideo was the Mania match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Even if it's not their first match, I could definitely see that being the Cruiserweight match at Mania. So, yeah, Enzo to retain.
Yeah, I definitely, we're seeing eye to eye on that, because I don't think there's any way Kalisto wins the title back, because like they only really put the title on him in the first place because Eddie Guerrero birthday. I really don't think they're going to go there. So, yeah, let's get into the main show. And I honestly, because of the fact that there are literally no stakes on any of the matches on the main show, I literally just had to order them from what I felt was the least interesting, least important match to the most interesting, most important match. So this match card order is entirely subjective on my point. Normally I try to be like, okay, well, let's put the matches with no stipulations first, then we'll do some title matches that aren't going to main event, then main events. And they're just it doesn't work here. So let's talk immediately. We're talking about the match that I give the fewest shits about, the match that I actively don't even want to watch, the match that I'm most likely going to spend talking to chat in and during: Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte.
I really don't even know what to say about this match in terms of a prediction. And I'm probably going to say this about a lot of these matches, oddly enough. Goddamn. I'm just going to go with Alexa Bliss. I don't know. Actually, no, wait. No, you know what? I'm going to go Charlotte. And I don't want to show my hand too early, but I can tell you with the women's elimination match, I do think Raw is going to win that because Asuka, so I think SmackDown needs something. So by that logic, I'm going to go Charlotte here so that it's even keel. What about you? Who do you think's winning?
Oh, man. This is based almost exclusively on my own ability to kind of manipulate what mood I'm in. I am picking Charlotte because then I know that if Charlotte wins, I won't be happy, but I'll at least be able to fall back on, see, I called it. If Alexa wins, I won't have called it, but I'll be in a better mood because Charlotte didn't win.
Yeah.
So I'm picking Charlotte based on my own mood.
I mean, whatever does it for you. Interesting, though, that you may differ in my logic about the women's elimination match, and we'll get to that. I don't know. Are we getting to that next, or is that a little later up on the card?
That's a little later. That's middle of the card. I have it.
All right. Well, then what comes next?
Oh, Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Usos. I'm going to tell you, but since you already sighed, I'm going to just go straight into it. I've got the Usos winning this. I think because of the fact that Cesaro and Sheamus got, well, they didn't get screwed into the titles or out of the titles. They kind of got screwed into the titles. Like they were the benefactors of another team being screwed out of the titles. And because of that, I think that they're going to kind of do the story of like the New Day cost Raw by preventing the Shield guys from being able to go against the Usos in that tag team match. And Cesaro and Sheamus are going to lose. I think Cesaro and Sheamus might get punished for losing by having to defend the titles against Rollins and Ambrose again, and they might even lose them to them. So yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah, honestly, I was a bit more hyped for this match when it was Usos versus Rollins and Ambrose, but what we got instead with Rollins and Ambrose, I am very much looking forward to, and we'll get to that later. To me, Usos win. And that honestly is a very biased pick because I love what the Usos are doing, and I'll be actively rooting for them. The bar has grown on me slightly, so it's not like I'm totally hating on them either, but I'm still a curmudgeon that thinks, what was that?
I said, I am.
But I'm still that curmudgeon that's like, Cesaro should be doing singles, and I'm not giving it up, and I'm not going to lie about giving it up. So yeah, Usos for the win. Hopefully it's a good match, but what has hope ever gotten us, huh? So there you
go. Third match, and really the only title versus title match other than the world titles that's gotten any degree of good build at all. The Miz versus Baron Corbin. I've already said I think the Miz is going to play the babyface in this match. I think Miz is going to be received as a babyface. I think he's going to kind of do what he did at WrestleMania against John Cena and kind of pander to the crowd a little bit more. I think that the Miz is going to really ham it up in this, but because of that, I'm picking Corbin to win.
Interesting. You know what? I'm actually going to agree with you though that Corbin's winning because here's the thing. He's got to save face because to me in the verbal department, Miz has scorched him. And I do want to commend both guys though for going into business for themselves, utilizing social media, cutting the promos, because really as far as on screen, they both had to worry about being champions or, Miz still had his concerns with the Shield and Corbin had his concerns with Sin Cara. So, now they're meeting, and I thought the promos were great. I commended both guys. Honestly, when you look at the build and you look at what these guys tried to do with it, these guys probably gave more effort than Creative gave for most of this card, in my opinion. So I commend them for that. But yeah, I do think because Miz owned Baron in promos, he's got to deliver here. So I am going to go with Corbin beating Miz. I'm not even keeping a tally with which SmackDown people I pick and which Raw people I pick. But yeah, I'll go with you on Corbin winning here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we're already getting into our first Survivor Series match. And by the way, in case you hadn't noticed, I've kept all 3 matches so far being won by SmackDown. I've got Charlotte beating Alexa. I've got the Usos beating Cesaro and Sheamus. I've got Corbin beating The Miz. And then we get to the women's 5-on-5 match. And I'm picking Raw exclusively because of Asuka. Like, I don't care. Anyone else, doesn't matter. Asuka being on this team tells me Team Raw is winning. We do have a mystery partner on Team SmackDown because it's Becky, Carmella, Naomi, Tamina, and then to be announced. And there have been rumors it might be Paige. I have no clue who it is. And quite frankly, I don't care who it is because whoever it is, they're not ready for Asuka.
Yeah. I mean, bro, we were playing Rocket League the other night, and I told you straight up, because we were talking about this card, that Asuka's credibility is such, and I wouldn't even be surprised if WWE did this to prove a point, that Asuka could be in a 1-on-5 situation, and I would still pick her to win. Like, I'm sorry. She's got that armor for me right now. So with 4 other people backing her up, who I don't even really think that she needs.
And especially because one of those 5 people, or one of those 4 people, since you said it was the 4 people backing her up, one of them is Nia Jax.
Right.
So,
and I would love if she got bitched out the way she did last year, but that's another
time. It wouldn't surprise me if they did Becky tapping her out just to make a potential storyline. If one of them would get drafted to the other shows and they would both be on the same show, they could do like a storyline with that where Becky has Nia's number. But I do think that Nia, just in general, isn't as nearly as well protected as Asuka, but this is post bitching about her position in the company, Nia. So she's got that little bit of extra armor now.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But even so, like, I'm telling you, and I do mean it as a compliment to Asuka and I guess like how she's been written all this time, because my perception of her, and I've always said, you are what you're booked. If I'm perceiving you a certain way because of your booking, I'm sorry, that's just what you are. She's untouchable to me right now until they really build up an opposition. Then I'm like, oh shit, might they? Which the last time that happened was Ember Moon. I'm telling you, she could hand all 5 women their asses by herself. She doesn't even need these 4 scrubs as far as I'm concerned. No disrespect to Sasha Banks. I know Asia's in chat, but seriously, like, Asuka to me is on another level entirely because of the booking. So yeah, absolutely Team Raw all day, every day. And I almost feel ballsy enough to say that Asuka will be the sole survivor on her team, just taking care of business, but I won't go that far. Wouldn't be surprised if they did, though.
And the funny thing is, I was thinking, like, we might get like a damn close to a clean sweep here. Like Raw might win this like 4-0 or like 3 or 4 or 5-0, like dominant victory for Raw. Like I could see, I honestly, like, you look at Team Raw and the only person that I think is going to be an easy elimination is Alicia Fox, who's the captain, which I guess, you know, you take out the opposing team's captain and it's like a cool moral victory, but every single person on Team SmackDown, I feel like, is more vulnerable than anybody else on Raw.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to completely agree with you. And it's funny because I'm with you as far as the tally goes. You know, I picked Charlotte, I picked Usos, and I picked Corbin. This is where the tide begins to turn a little bit. I've absolutely got Raw winning this. And yeah. I think, yeah.
All right. Well, I think you and I are kind of, whether intentional or not, telling the same story here, because we've got SmackDown winning 3, and just as a already kind of, we're in the video, might as well say it, spoiler alert, I've also got Raw winning 3, and then it'll be 3-3 going into the 5-on-5 big time main event, and that's going to be the barn burner where it's like, oh, whoever wins this has the majority of the wins. So yeah, that's going to be kind of where I go here. So after the 5-on-5 women's match, I have the Shield versus the New Day. And it's really just because the only other 2 matches that are left are Lesnar Styles and the 5-on-5 men's match. So Shield, New Day, who you picking?
Oh, absolutely Shield. I think this is going to be an amazing 6-man match. I think this 6-man match is going to be like why we fell in love with the Shield in the first place, because it's going to be that frenetic pace, which I think the New Day can match.
Yeah,
and I want to give a shout out. And I want to give a shout out to somebody I never really thought I'd give a shout out, like as far as the competitors go, to Xavier Woods. Like, I am so happy he's in this shit because I think he's really going to shine so well here. I really expect him to do great things because he was kind of an eye-opener to me in the whole Usos feud. Because, you know, my focus has always been, oh, Big E, future world champion. I still believe that. But, man, has Xavier made the most of the time that he's gotten, and I am so happy he's a part of this. And it's not just a standard, like, 2-on-2, you know, Rollins, Ambrose versus Kofi and Big E. I love that we're getting everybody involved. And really, it's not just Shield. Again, and I know it's kind of hypocritical of me because I've said, oh, WWE doesn't do long-term. They don't do long-term. They only do long-term for the people they give a shit about. So I should have qualified that statement. They give a shit about Roman Reigns. They're going to protect Roman Reigns like fuck all because the big game plan is WrestleMania 34 to me. And they're not about to slow that down for the New Day's account as much as I love the New Day and as I'm sure as much as they love the New Day because they've been pushing the merch and shit. But yeah, Shield is absolutely winning without a question in my mind.
Absolutely, yeah. This is definitely something. Also, I think we've agreed on every single match so far. So yet again, more continuing agreement between the two of us. This is rare. I know you and I think similarly in a lot of ways, but it's very rare that you and I agree on 6 straight matches, going on 7, because I'm pretty sure we agree that Brock Lesnar is winning against AJ Styles.
Do we want to talk about this match now?
That's next on the list, so yeah.
All right. I feel like this match, again, was done a huge disservice because when we got a little taste of the build, I thought it was so freaking good. But you know what, though? Maybe in this case, and WWE, you're lucky I'm giving you this because I really haven't given you much. Maybe in this case, less is more because maybe if it was more, maybe it would have gotten tedious. So maybe this was enough. You know, and that's just me trying to be as even-handed as I can.
I do, in a way, wish that we would have heard Heyman's response to Daniel Bryan's promo from SmackDown. That's the only thing that I really do kind of regret about the build of this.
Yeah. I can certainly agree with you there because it would have been funny, like Heyman just kind of laughing about Bryan being an advocate and then just kind of tearing him down because Paul Heyman's got his swagger up. You know, he don't give no shits. But yeah, I look at this. Is it going to be a great match? Yeah, but I mean, let me set the record straight for me. It's going to be a great match precisely because of the same reason why Jinder Mahal's last title defense, in my mind, was the best match he had as champion because AJ makes the people he works with look like $1 million. I mean, Kurt Angle has said multiple times, if I was to work with anybody on my comeback, I want it to be AJ because you don't have to do shit. He does everything, he said.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the lazy man's answer, Kurt.
And that's the thing, like, this is Kurt Angle, a guy that's like, oh, I'm a wrestling machine, I'm intense, like, I'm gonna wrestle till my body breaks down, and he's like, oh, with AJ, it's like taking a vacation, like, he does everything because he's so good. Even Booker T, whose opinion I don't value at all, I actually find it as a form of comedy. He said he wasn't looking forward to this because, I don't know, he just thought it was too much of a mismatch, you know, because you've got Brock Lesnar, he said, that moves like a middleweight, and then AJ, who is that good, but he doesn't like how it looks on paper. Maybe he would have preferred Mahal versus Lesnar. I know Ella would have as well.
I mean, just to be clear, I don't have a problem with this match just happening because I do like a good David and Goliath story. What I would have had a problem with is if this would have been Brock's big WrestleMania opponent because, like, people are always saying, like, oh, man, I wanted Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, and now, of course, it's AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. Like, I don't have a problem with that match happening, but if you have Brock Lesnar, I don't want a David versus Goliath story with Brock Lesnar in WrestleMania. I want Goliath versus Goliath. I want a Clash of the Titans, damn it. I want Lesnar versus freaking Cesaro. Like, I want Lesnar versus another big, intimidating guy that could actually stand up to Lesnar.
Yeah, I can understand that. You know, I
want Lesnar versus Strowman, damn it.
Yeah, I want it done proper. Like, that No Mercy match was fucking trash the more I think about it.
I had already forgotten that it happened. I just am trying to erase it from my mind.
I'm so sorry that I didn't help the process. I'm just still salty about it. Forgive me. But yeah, dude, it's not going to be a bad match, but that's only to me because of AJ. Like, if I'm really being honest, and forgive me, guys, for sounding so visceral, I'm over Lesnar. That's the only reason I'll be happy when Reigns wins, even though I know that that's going to be a different drought, just a new title holder, because it's like, goddamn, like, it really just does nothing for me anymore. And I would have thought better of him had he lost to Strowman, but the moment he beat him with one F5, I'm like, no, dude, fuck you. fuck your, suplexes and all that stuff. But AJ's going to make it look like new because he's going to sell it like death and he's going to be amazing. However, just to get to what you're all here for, absolutely Lesnar's going to win. And I actually buy into the rumor that he's probably going to win because they're going to want to protect AJ because of Jinder Mahal interference. He's probably going to feel really, spited that he didn't get to be a part of this, that he's no longer the champion, that he's going to want to take it out on AJ. We continue that program. And as much as people may hate me for this and as much as Ella may love me for this, I do see Mahal getting the title back in the future. So enjoy this Lesnar-AJ match because I really just don't see AJ hanging onto that brass ring for long. But yeah, Lesnar's going to win. He's going to keep being the man until Roman Reigns knocks him off that perch. There you go.
Yeah. WrestleMania 34 is what it's all about. See, this is where people get you, because when you say, oh, Vince McMahon isn't a long-term booker, he doesn't think long-term, they can point to, oh yeah, well, he was planning on Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for a year before it happened. But
yeah, and that's why I had to qualify my statement saying they only care about long-term booking with their personal projects.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, most of it is just throw shit on a wall and hope something sticks. So yeah, I guess that's we both agree Lesnar's winning. So that's 7 matches in a row now that we agree on. Let's see if we can actually agree on this final match, the final big time main event 5-on-5 elimination Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown match. On Raw, we've got Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Triple H, and on SmackDown we have got Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and John Cena. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, coming into this, I had in my mind Raw's winning, end of story. But the more I think about it, I'm starting to second guess myself. So I want you to talk, and maybe you'll convince me one way or another.
Yeah, I'll probably convince you because you'll probably listen and be like, wow, that opinion is so stupid. I'm going to go the other way. So, yeah, just give me the rope to hang myself. Yeah, dude, I could see where you're coming from because, on one hand, I look at that Raw team, right, and I'm like, I really just can't even visualize them losing, especially with Triple H on that team. Because Triple H is actually the big factor for me wanting to pick Raw. And another thing, too, and again, this is always like my crazy logic.
And the big factor for me wanting to pick Raw is Strowman.
And see, because of how Strowman got done last year with, James Ellsworth helping to eliminate him, I could just see them finding an ingenious way to get him eliminated. Right. Maybe not.
And that is... You're right, and that's why I'm second guessing myself because I don't think anyone else on that Raw team is inexpendable.
Right.
Because Triple H has the ego, but we're talking about like 47-year-old Triple H. Like when was the last time he even won a big time match like this? Like he won that Royal Rumble that was, the big deal with Roman, but that felt more like, oh, let's just have someone other than Roman win so that we don't have Roman get booed. And the whole point was for him to put over Roman in the end. So it doesn't really, there's nothing to that. I don't know. Triple H and Kurt Angle are supposed to be WrestleMania opponents, so they might end up screwing each other over somehow, or Triple H screws over Kurt or whatever. And the one guy that is like the trump card is John Cena, because he is like Asuka in that it could be him versus all 5 guys on Raw, and I would still not be convinced that Cena was losing. So I almost feel like I have to pick SmackDown here, and it's bugging me.
Another thing I was going to reference, because, me with my lie, I'll reach into freaking anything to make anything work, but when we had this big 5-on-5 last year, Team SmackDown did win with Braun Orton being the survivors. So part of me thought, well, Raw's getting their win back this year because, again, look at that fucking team. But let's address the elephant in the room here because I saw Alex Foster asking in chat. I know that we've seen some fantasy booking and that it's been mused about. Let me just ask you, because you're a no-nonsense guy. You're yes or no straight away. Do you think Jason Jordan is going to screw Kurt Angle over or have any hand in this match whatsoever?
I don't think he's going to screw Kurt Angle over, but I do think there's a strong possibility that he at least tries to screw Triple H over.
So you think, because here's my thing, right? And the only reason I'm even asking about this is one, Foster asked, and I wanted to acknowledge that because it's been on my mind. I could see this going 2 ways. Either you're right, because we know WWE is stubborn, and they're like, oh, we know that we could get Jason to work as a babyface. Oh, but who do we have him go against? Oh, I know, Triple H, which will be so effective until he pulls a Triple H.
Yeah, they don't ever think about that though. They're never like, oh, Triple H is notorious for acting like a babyface in a feud where he's supposed to get the other guy over. All they think about is Triple H is a legend. Let's have this young up-and-comer work with him and it'll make him look great.
I'll never forget the term pulling a Triple H one because, I mean, you coined it on that blog post, and I freaking love the blog post. So, like, I always think about it now when Triple H is in a certain setting, including here, by the way. But then another part of me is like, and I know I shouldn't because I know they've given me no reason to, right? And I'm fully cognizant of that. But I also look at it as Jason looking back at the footage as his father just nods and looks at him getting pedigree. And you have to feel a certain way about it. I mean, I know this is normally the time where I go fresh first. How come you don't want me, man? But no, like, it's not even that. I just think you look at it and it would be like, well, it's like how Cliff feels about me because I never paid child support. I mean, sure, you say you love me, but I know given the first chance, you're going to want to just shove a shard of glass into my chest, because there's a lot of resentment there. I don't know, man, because, like, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't thinking about it. And,
it's interesting because I do think we will get a Jason Jordan Triple H feud. So, and I think that'll be like the precursor that helps to build up towards Triple H versus Kurt Angle.
Right.
So, the question, I think first of all, I think it's way too early for Jason Jordan to be turning Kurt Angle. I really do. Because he literally just got revealed as Kurt Angle's son, 3 months ago? Maybe, if that.
And see, again, I agree with you, but because of, and again, this is my cynicism showing itself, and I won't lie about it, I don't think this company is intelligent enough to do a long-form story to rip off the Band-Aid. I could see them going into panic mode and just trying to do a U-turn. You know what I mean? Just trying to turn just very sharply, very abruptly into a different direction. If they feel like it isn't working, they may not feel that way. They may still feel like, again, this babyface thing can work. So I'm really, really waffling on it because they've loaded this Survivor Series. What?
Are they going to do like their version of that movie with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, Daddy's Home, where Triple H is like the cool stepdad and Kurt Angle is the pussy biological father?
Oh, God.
Triple H is the Mark Wahlberg to Kurt Angle's Will Ferrell, and Jason Jordan is the kid stuck in the middle of it all.
God, for all I know, WWE might do what they did with Hornswoggle, Vince, and Finlay, where it's like, Kurt, you're not Jason Jordan's real father. This guy is. And then, I don't know,
Well, I mean, to be fair, they won't ever do that to Triple H because that would make people question his loyalty to Stephanie. And
that's true. And then he'd look at Stephanie and be like, I always wanted a son. I had to do what I had to do.
But Hunter, you're the man. You're the one that makes it, whether it's a boy or a girl. Your chromosomes that determine that.
I just never expected the golden shovel to be taken to my sperm counts. But no, either way.
He's never going to sire a son.
He can win at WrestleManias. He's a multi-time champion. Can't birth the son. I'm sorry. It's always going to elude you. But so where do I side here? Because I'll be honest, more than even AJ Brock, which I think you and I picked the winner of that pretty readily. This is the match I struggle with most, looking at both teams.
And you know what? I'll tell you the two faces that I'm staring at that are making me struggle with it.
Yeah.
John Cena and Triple H.
Exactly. Because it's like, who's going to do the job? And John Cena's
And you know who else is kind of giving me troubles is Shane McMahon, because WWE and really Vince thinks that Shane is just the toughest son of a bitch of all time.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, Nakamura, Joe, and Bálor are all relatively expendable.
Yeah.
To Shane, Cena, Triple H, Angle, and Strowman. And that's where I'm just like, okay, who is the WWE more or less willing to bitch out? And the name that comes up is like, why would they bother going out of their way to protect Kurt Angle? But then it's like they did that during their TLC match with the Shield. So,
and see, dude, I love that you still have that kind of investment in Strowman, because I still love him. It's not that. It's just I know WWE doesn't give two shits. Like,
because Alex Foster just said in chat, Shane won't survive, but he'll probably jump off something onto Strowman, is I think what he was.
Well, yeah, I mean, do you remember what I told you? Because I hope you can.
Shane will eliminate Strowman.
Well, yeah, because he's going to eat all the finishers. And then Shane's going to get the elbow and he's going to get the pin. Like, they're going to do Strowman like that, man. And then I'm going to be like, I told you all. I told you twice.
So let's block out everyone else and let's just look at this as a tag team match. John Cena and Shane McMahon versus Triple H and Kurt Angle. Triple H and Kurt Angle are probably going to end up attacking each other, one or the other. But I'm guessing it'll be Triple H attacking Kurt Angle. So you know what? Screw it. I'm picking Team SmackDown with Shane McMahon and John Cena as the survivors.
Let me just ask you one more question, because DBK brought this up, and if I brought up Foster's point, I think it's only fair to bring up DBK's, especially because I feel like there's more narrative weight to this than Jason Jordan even. Do you think KO and Sammy are going to try and screw Team SmackDown because they're bitter that they're not on it? Do you think they're going to have a run in at some point in this match?
Yeah, probably. There's going to be so many shenanigans in this. We're probably going to see Rusev. We're probably going to see Sammy and KO. We're probably going to see Jason Jordan. Probably going to see Bray Wyatt, if I had to guess.
You know what?
We're going to see Kane. We're probably going to see Kane. So
yeah, Jesus Christ,
a lot going on.
I mean, fully expect this match to go an hour, guys.
You know what though? That's why we haven't even discussed the outside interference, because there's going to be so much of it on both sides that it might as well just cancel itself out.
Right, and I'm telling you guys right now, like, fully expect this match to go an hour, which is one of the reasons why I think this show is going to be so freaking long.
Hours. It's a 5 hours. Show.
Yeah, like,
is it 5 or is it 4? It might be a 4-hour show. I don't know.
Wasn't the pre-show alone 2 hours? So yeah, I think it's a 5-hour show.
Well, I mean, the pre-show is 2 hours, but then I think the show itself is 4.
Oh wow,
so Jesus! Like, combined, it would be 6 hours.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is expect this match to get a shit ton of time, just like last year's did. Because between shenanigans and everything else, like, they're gonna drag this shit out, and hopefully in a good way that we're all enjoying and we don't feel time. I doubt it.
Yeah. The main show starts at 7, so the pre-show starts at 5. Yeah, it's a 4-hour show.
Yeah.
Lately they've been overrunning their allotted time, so it'll be over 4 hours likely.
Right. And you said Team SmackDown, right? That's who you're going with?
I am, yeah. I'm sold. I'm sticking with.
You know what? I agree with you. I am gonna pick Team SmackDown too, but I want to say it's because I just think Jason's going to say, fuck you, Kurt, man. I think Jason's going to be the difference maker in this, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But yeah, Team SmackDown because of Jason Jordan. Though, to be honest, if Team Raw were to win, I would hope it would be either because of KO and Sammy or definitely because of Rusev. If it would be because of Rusev that Raw wins, I would lose my I would sing Rusev Day. So yeah, but I think I'll go Team SmackDown. So we agree on every match here. This was a tough one, though. I really felt myself being pulled in both directions, but I have to agree with you. Hopefully this is a decent card. I don't know. But yeah, definitely looking forward to TakeOver. And this, like I said, I'm a 7 out of 10. So interest is there, but we'll see how it goes. Do you have any concluding remarks you want to make before you take us home?
No, I mean, I'm still stuck at a 6 out of 10. I'm not very excited for this. I'm excited to a degree just because of the story that I think they're going to do. I really do think that we're going to get, the 3 wins for one side and the 3 wins for the other side, and then this match is going to be the decider. But yeah, man, this is really the only thing I'm excited for, just because nothing else has stakes. And even this doesn't really have stakes, but they'll find a way to make it feel like it has stakes because I'm just that competitive person. And I'm always like, I just have that sense of like, oh man, it comes down to this. It's 3-3. The winner of this match wins the whole shebang, even though there is no shebang to win. But yeah, this really is the one match on this card that I'm really stoked about, and nothing else really catches my attention all that much. So
yeah, and like, because I'm even thinking about past Survivor Series, and like, I even feel like with past Survivor, because I used to love the pay-per-view. I used to feel like, all right, well, at least you've got like rivalries that matter, like even the weaker ones, right? Like, oh, Team Miz versus Team Morrison. You're like, oh, well, they were tag team champions together. They were close, and then one turned on the other. And who's really the better one? Who's the Jannetty? Who's the Shawn Michaels? But who are really the 2 people that have beef right now? Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon, the 2 really old fucks in this thing. Like, I don't care. So even if it was like 2 young guys and it was just their beef and this was a feud settler, I would at least give them more credit for that. And, we wouldn't even have to get all crazy with like titles or Rumble numbers or this and that. But like, you're both so old. I don't care. So yeah, that's happy Survivor Series, everybody. And yeah, I mean, this show's going to be Sunday. You guys know we're going to be doing live reactions. Hopefully it's a grand old time. You know, we always make it such. I'm just waiting for WWE to pull their weight. And yeah, I guess I'll give it to you, Ashton, and take us home.
All right, guys, remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed what we have to say. And once the video does get fully finished processing, leave a comment and let us know what you think is going to happen on this show. I'm really curious to see what some of the Twitwell fandom has to say about this show. And of course, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And once you do, remember to click on the bell icon to get notifications whenever we go live. Follow us both on Twitter, like the official Twitwell Facebook page, and check out the subreddit if you're on Reddit. And of course, if you are interested at all in supporting the Twitwell brand, you can do so either by buying merch on Teespring or donating to our Patreon, in which you can donate a mere $3 a month. And it will grant you access to the official Twitwell patron Discord channel, in which you get to have fun conversations with John, with me, with a bunch of other hardcore Twitwell fans that decided that the $3 a month was worth joining that community. Of course, you can also donate more. It's up to you. It's entirely on your decision. If you can't afford to donate a couple bucks a month, then please use your money wisely. Don't spend it on us if you can't afford it. And the $3 that you do donate, if you're interested in doing such a thing or more, however, will accumulate. So over time, you will be able to buy live reaction requests, live reaction and review requests, if you so please. Or if you aren't interested in individual video requests, if you just keep on donating, eventually I'm sure we'll hit the community goal, and that will allow us to start live reacting every week to progress. So very exciting times in Twitwell. We are very excited about tomorrow night's NXT TakeOver War Games, and we will be live reacting to that. And of course, Sunday is Survivor Series, and we'll be live reacting to that as well. So we will see you guys tomorrow night and then Sunday night. And of course, in order for us to see you there, you've got to remember to stay tuned.